Hey everyone, this is Yolens. It's been about a month since my last video and a lot had happened in the world while I was away. Serious world events that affect peace, conflict, money and power. Today I'll walk you through the biggest geopolitical stories from the late 2025 and January 2026 and explain them in a way anyone can understand, no prior knowledge needed. Let's start. So the biggest event was the US military action in Venezuela, capture of President Maduro. One of the biggest and most surprising events was the United States military operation in Venezuela that resulted in Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro being captured by US forces. This happened in early January 2026 and it shocked the world. Reuters analysis sources confirmed that US forces carried out strikes targeting the key military positions and ultimately detained Maduro. After that, the United States stated it would take temporary control of Venezuela's government assets as a part of transition plan. This is huge because Venezuela has some of the world's largest oil reserves and it changes how world powers, like the US, China and Russia, compete for influence. World leaders from South America, Europe and Asia reacted strongly, some condemning the move as a violation of international law and others supporting it. While the world reacted to the Venezuela crisis, other parts of the world were also boiling. The second biggest event that took place was Iran protests and tension with the US. Across the Middle East and Iran, mass protests erupted in the late December and continued into January. People took to the streets to protest economic hardship, inflation, and political issues. At times, these demonstrations have been large and violent, with thousands of arrests and significant crackdowns by the government. The US government publicly said it was watching closely. At one point, military action was considered but not launched. Iran controls one of the world's key oil choke points. The state of Hormuz and instability there can affect global oil prices and security in the Middle East. Speaking of the Middle East and peace efforts, the third geopolitical event that took place was World Economic Forums in Davos and new peace initiatives. In January, the World Economic Forum took place in Davos, Switzerland. This annual meeting brings together presidents, prime ministers, CEOs, and big thinkers from around the world to talk about economics, peace, and future challenges. One big announcement was the idea of a board of peace, a panel meant to help manage peace processes in places like Gaza and Ukraine. The US suggested expanding this body to other conflict zones, but it also raised questions because it's not under the United Nations. This forum shapes how leaders plan future cooperation when government and economics are under stress. From diplomatic talks, let's look at unrest and regional conflicts. The number 4 geopolitical event that we're going to discuss in this video is Ukraine war continuation with new attacks. Even though the world is focused on other crises, the war in Ukraine is still ongoing. In January, there were reports of major Russian missiles and drone strike against Ukrainian energy infrastructure, causing blackouts and damage in multiple regions. This shows that the conflict hasn't ended, it keeps evolving and affecting the European security and energy systems. Moving to global economics and political shifts, the number 5th geopolitical event that we're going to discuss in this video is the US-Europe trade tensions and Greenland dispute. Another trending story was trade tensions between the United States and Europe over Greenland. Early in January 2026, the US pushed for access to Greenland, a region with rich mineral resources, and threatened tariffs on several European nations, including Denmark, Norway, and Germany. Europe responded critically and markets reacted strongly, showing how economic pressure can be a geopolitical tool. Meanwhile, not all unrest is military or diplomatic. Number 6 topic is going to be an interesting one, where Bulgarian government resigns after mass public protests. In Bulgaria, mass street protests in December 2025 forced the government to resign. This was due to widespread anger over corruption and public dissatisfaction with how the country was being run. But why this matters, even within Europe, not just in war zones, citizens are shaping politics through protests. And now some longer-term strategic tensions. There's also a growing diplomatic dispute between China and Japan that started in late 2025. It began over cultural and trade issues and reflects deeper frictions between the two nations on many levels. This matters because the geopolitical isn't about war, it's about relations between major powers that affect trade, culture, and regional stability. So those are the biggest developments globally. Here's a quick recap of the major topics we covered. US capture of Venezuelan leader Maduro, Iran protests and tensions World Economic Forum and peace plans, Ukraine war strikes, US Europe trade tensions over Greenland, Bulgarian government protests, China Japan diplomatic issues. All of these are shaping global power, economics, and everyday people's life. Now, I want to hear from you. Which topic should we explore in detail next? Which one surprised you the most? Drop a comment below so I can make the following video on it. Thank you.